here with Half Dozen Customs, back on the 49. We left off the other day with flipping everything over and getting everything primed, which is, you know, this stuff back here: tailgate, side panels, steps. So now we're gonna start working on this fender and just doing like a final clean on the fender. All the metal work has been done. We just need to clean all the hot spots up, maybe do a little sandblasting. I'm gonna have to pull it off because I can't get underneath this brace to clean that up, so we'll have to pull this off to clean up underneath the brace, and then we'll put it back on for body work to start. So, but we gotta get it nice and clean and very pretty, no rust, no hot spots, before we can start body work. So, got my good old burnishing tool, and we'll start with this, and then probably be a little sandblasting and a lot of DA-ing and man, just for cleaning off, you know, the hot spots that were created. This is an awesome tool. I really like this tool. I mean, it worked for what I originally bought it for, and then so much more. So I think I'm gonna switch to the wire wheel. And we'll hit some of the areas where there was pitted rust that got sandblasted. And we'll try that first before I make a mess sandblasting. Being that it's already been sandblasted and cleaned once, you know, it should just be a very light layer of surface rust, and hopefully my wire wheel will take care of it, instead of having to sandblast. You know, surprisingly, the burnishing took most of it, even out of the pits, the larger pits, cleaned right up. So So 80 grit takes that surface rust, you know, right off. But it won't get into the pits. So that's what, you know, I'm gonna try and do here. You know, it gets cleaned with the burnishing tool, and then it gets cleaned again with the 80 grit. You know, so I make sure that it's really clean and there's no surface rust left behind. But it's hard when you start working with the pits. It's kind of like you're going backwards with having to go into the sandblasting again. And you know, I hate that, but it's just part of the job. So the wire wheel worked wonders to clean out the pits. It did what I was hoping that it would do. So I think as far as the outside goes and the lips go, I think we're good without having to turn to the sandblaster. Now on the inside, when I go to do the inside, that might be a different story because I know that there's corners and nooks and crannies I'm not going to be able to get into with the wire wheel. So we will have to turn to the sandblaster for that. But right now I'm just working on the outside, and I think we're good without breaking out the sandblaster. So I'm good without making a mess for a little while. This is just 80 grit on DA, so. Alright, so we got it all sanded down in 80. We got right around an hour in it, and that's with getting everything set up, tools, extension cords, hoses. But got about an hour into getting it cleaned up. Now I'm going to pull it off. We're going to make sure the bottom edge is good. We're going to get the edge between everything, make sure that's good. I'll see what I can do about cleaning up the couple of spots on the inside, and then we're ready to start body work. We left off last night with getting this all sanded down, and there was a couple of spots on the inside where I was not able to get to with the wire wheel to clean it up. So I came out here this morning, and in between the rain, I was able to take this outside and sandblast a couple of corners that needed to be hit, and then I brought it in and I coated a couple of spots with some Marglass. We had a welded patch in here, we had a welded patch in here. I hit them inside and out over the top of the welds, and then I hit along the side here where it mounts to the side of the truck. There was a couple of spots that were welded previously before I got my hands on this, where I just kind of cleaned up the weld. So, you know, we got those coated, but it was super rust pitted all the way across here. Now when I had it mounted to the side of the truck, it looked fine. Like, we didn't have any areas that were sticking out, you know, farther than the other, creating you know, an uneven gap along the bedside. But this will just ensure that we have a nice flat surface when we mount it to the bedside, instead of it being really bumpy and maybe having, you know, some areas that might dig into the paint that's unnecessary. So so we just kind of got that coated. And now I'm just going to sand it out. I'm just going to, right now for one, it's just Marglass, so these spots will get sanded down and roughed in. And this, I'm just going to finish sand it with the DA. It mounts up against the side of the truck. I'm really not too worried about whether it's, you know, perfectly straight. So I'm just going to DA them down, and then we'll get, I'm going to get this, once we get this all sanded down and get the inside sanded down, I'm going to put it up on a horse, or on a stand, bumper stand, and we're gonna start working on this top section, because I need to do the top section off of the bedside, off of the side of the truck, because of that square stake hole cover thing that we put there. I don't want to bondo around all that and then have to take this back off to then fill in that void area that we weren't able to get to because of that stake pocket. So I'll just do it off of the truck, and then we'll put it back on the truck to do the two sides of it. So let's get to sanding. Okay, so we got all that sanded down. Like I said, I wasn't trying to make this absolutely perfect. You're never gonna see it. I just wanted a flat surface. It was all rusted and pitted. We sandblasted it. It was pretty rough looking. So just cleaned it up a little bit. One coat, Marglass, Duraglass, whatever you want to call it. I see there's a little spot here we gotta hit, and there's a little spot there that we gotta hit, and I'll do that when we coat the top with some lightweight filler. The other spots that I hit, this was really pitted down here real bad, and there was a rust patch and a couple of holes that we welded up from the previous owner having they hit a piece of aluminum over it and it was pop riveted in, if you guys remember from earlier videos. So there was a few holes that we had welded up and then a small patch that we did, so that got Marglassed. We had a patch up there. There was a patch in the front. So this side was pretty clean. So yeah, so now it's time to set it up on a bumper stand, and we're gonna work on that top area. So I'll be back with that. This battery's about to die, so I'm gonna get that switched out, get you guys on the charger and whatnot. So I'll see you guys shortly. So just a little recap on it. Last night we got it all sanded down and cleaned up and ready to start doing body work on it. This morning, in between rain, I sandblasted a couple of corners that I couldn't get to with the sander or the wire wheel, mainly on the inside. Couldn't sandblast outside last night because it was raining. This morning it was kind of showers here and there, so I kind of did it in between those. And then I put Marglass just around this edge here where it mounts to the bedside, mainly because it was just super pitted from all the rust, and it was really bumpy. So, we had sandblasted it and cleaned it all up. It was just really nasty looking. So I put one coat of Marglass on there. We de-ate it out. And got a nice flat surface to work with now. I Marglassed where we put our patches in. Those two spots, and then down there, there was a small patch that we put in. There was a few holes from a previous panel that was riveted there that we welded up, and then there was a bunch of pitting from rust. So we coated that with Marglass. Now I'm going to coat the top of this with some lightweight filler. We'll get it all air filed out nice and straight, and then we'll mount this back on the bedside to do the side panels. Just be easier with it mounted, not moving around or anything like that. So I'm gonna mix up a coat of lightweight and we'll get this coated up here. Main reason that I'm coating this up here on top of the horse is because we have the skate pocket here in the middle that covers over this section where the Marglass is right here, and it just can't get underneath there with it mounted to the bedside. So we'll do the top here and then do the sides up there. Okay, now we wait for it to dry, and then we'll air file it with some 80 grit, and hopefully it comes out straight. I think that we should be okay with this. You know, it might take more than one coat to get this one straight. I know the other fender on the other side, it was really humped. Like this top section, it was humped real bad. And I actually ran it through the English wheel to flatten it back out again. This one felt a lot better to me, so I did not run it through the English wheel. So hopefully we're okay, and we don't have to go 10 steps backwards to run it through the English wheel. But I think we should be okay with this one. It looked good enough, that's why I rolled with it, so fingers crossed. We'll find out once we get to start sanding it out. So I'll see you guys when this one is dry, and we'll see what we end up with. Alright, back here I gave this, I don't know, 40 minutes or so to dry. So got some 80 grit on here. Let's get the sanding. See why, like, I want to mount this into the side of the truck, because, you know, with just me out here working on it, when this thing bites into this fender, like, it's wanting to take the whole stand with it and everything. So, I mean, I'm sure, you know, I could build some wooden sawhorses and bolt this thing to it, you know, and it might be a little bit better, but I don't have the stuff for that right now, and I'm not going to spend money on it right now. So, I work with what you got. So, not too bad. That took me, I don't know, right around 10 minutes or so to do. And it didn't come out too bad. You can see there's a high spot, there's a high spot, there's a low spot, there's a little low spot there. You know, but other than that, I mean, it came out pretty good. Once you start to hit metal like that, you've reached your sanding point. You don't want to keep sanding on that, because that's going to be a high spot, and then you're going to end up with a low spot around that high spot. So once you start hitting metal like this, you got to stop. And you know, if you got a low spot in there, then you know that you need a little bit more filler. So you know, this definitely needs some more work, but we're ready for a second skim coat on it. And you know, just by looking at it, what we got after that, you know, I'm gonna say one more coat should be the, you know, the final thing. You know, I feeling it, like it doesn't feel like it's straight yet, because once I started hitting metal, I stopped. So now we'll get another coat on here, and the next coat I should be able to straighten it out and get it nice and straight. So let's mix up another batch. Okay, so this that I put on here earlier, it was just one coat that I put on here. On my little pizza board that I got here, you know, I maybe mixed up a little pile like this big, and I was able to coat, you know, this whole thing in one coat. Like I said, you know, I like to pull everything nice and tight. You know, there's a couple areas that are a little thicker than I like to coat. But, you know, it's all gonna get sanded off anyways. You know, I like to keep it tight so it makes it easier to sand. There's less to sand, but this thing's just, you know, it's round edges everywhere. So it was kind of hard to, you know, pull tight on a flat thing and then come around a corner without, you know, taking it all off. So I'm trying to leave it on, and yeah, there's just a couple areas that got built up a little thicker than I wanted, but you know, for one coat, you know, it's looking pretty good. I see a couple spots where I'm starting to see it turn grayish, which means that we're getting close to the metal. But it feels nice and flat, so that's a good thing. That's what we want. Just gonna come in and do these little lower sections by hand. You know, it's just too hard to do it with the air file, and I don't want to come in with the DA. DAs don't do anything straight. Alright, I think we're real close with this. I still got to sand this back edge where it's up against the bed here. I like this much that I couldn't get to with the air file. So I'm gonna pull this fender off real quick, and I'll get that sanded up real fast, and then we'll be back to either recoat this if we need to. You know, I'll give it a good feel when it's off the bedside and see what I think of it, or we'll come back and we'll recoat this back, or well, put first coat on this back side. So I'll see you guys back here shortly. Okay, we're back after popping that fender off. I put it on the stand, and we got it all sanded down. Along this back edge, there was not nearly enough coverage on it, so I had to put a second coat along this back edge. We were already starting to hit bare metal in a couple of spots, so I just recoated the whole thing down to there's actually like a body roll right here. So I just coated down to the body roll, and then I coated all the way around to the lip here, and I let that dry off camera, and I sanded it all down. You guys watched me sand it down once. I wasn't going to make you watch again. So, and then I came back, we coated this. We haven't coated that yet. I did coat this little area here where we did a patch. We had put some Marglass there. And I did have one little light coat of lightweight filler. It was more like I had some left over on my spreader. And I just put it there just because I know that it was still low. So this has one full coat on it now. We coated down this edge all the way. And we have coated the back. This is just one coat. Pulled it pretty tight. I think I'm just going to attempt to get this sanded down and blocked out and see if we need to get another coat on it. For now, we got another cold day. Tomorrow it's supposed to start warming up, so Okay, got it all sanded down in 80 grit. I guess I would say roughed, and you know, there's a couple low spots. I see a little low spot there, low spot there. You know, we got a low spot there, and there's a couple low spots in the back here as well. Not horrible, but I got to pop it off so that I can sand up against the side of the bed. Now I know on that side, up against the side of the bed, like it needed a second coat, and I ended up just recoating the whole thing and sanding it back down. So that's what I'll do here. We'll just recoat it, and then it'll take care of all of the low spots in this back edge. I can already see, like, sanding this back here, like I got a couple spots where I started hitting metal, and you know, it's not bad, you can see, but like once I start to hit metal, I stop sanding, because you're gonna create a low spot around a high spot if you keep sanding. So but you can see, like right here, like it needs another coat. So, you know, and it's not bad. You know, there's a little low spot there, little low spot down here. Other than that, it feels really straight. So, you know, I think with one more coat we'll be good. And you know, two coats on something that the majority of it's getting sanded off, you know, that's pretty good. You know, at least in my eyes, it's pretty good. You know, compared to what was here before. Like, you know, if you guys remember, I was sanding Bondo off that was a 1/2 inch thick. You know, now, you know, we're maybe in the thickest spots, like a 1/16, you know, so much better than what we had before. We left off the other day, if I remember correctly, we had spread some Bondo on there, and I told you guys that I'd be back the next day to work on it. We let it cure overnight. So I did come back the next day and work on it, but I did not film it. You guys have been, you know, watching me, you know, apply and sand Bondo on this entire fender. I know it gets kind of boring, so I just came out here and got it finished up. So I believe we had left off with coating this front spot and this back area back here. So we got all that sanded down. Everything came out pretty good. Then I went through and I filled a couple of pinholes that I found. And then I came inside here. There was previous welds all along here from the last person who worked on it. And I just I hit them with some Marglass and smoothed them out, and made sure that the inside was all cleaned up and ready for primer, as well as the outside. So I did that yesterday. So we're gonna put some primer on it, and fingers crossed that it comes out good and looks straight. So feeling it, rubbing my hands across it, it feels good. I'm happy with it. Now this fender kind of has a curve this way, and it has a curve this way, and it's the same all the way around it. So I don't believe, it's kind of hard to tell from pictures online. I don't believe these are supposed to be like a trailer fender where it's just perfectly flat and straight. I think it is supposed to have some definition to it, some contour. So I don't believe that it's supposed to be perfectly flat straight. Now, I don't feel any dings, no dents, I don't feel any waves. I think that we have it flat. I took a straight edge and I laid it across the top, I laid it across both sides, and everything seems consistent. Now, it is not straight across, but you know, the gap that I have on either side of the straight edge, when I pull it from the back to the front, it stays the same all the way across. So I believe that we have a nice consistent contour to this. So we're gonna get it in primer and see what it looks like. You know, when you get to this point in body work and you know, you got your couple coats on, you've sanded it a whole bunch of times, you start getting the differences in the colors from sanding through and whatnot. It gets kind of hard to visually see it. So that's when you got to kind of rub it and feel it with your hand and see if you feel anything wrong with it. And I don't feel anything wrong with it, and I'm kind of lost visually in it. So we get it in primer, we get it all one color. I'll watch it as I'm applying the primer, and I'll look at the shine and look across the shine of the primer and see if I see anything wrong with it. And then when the primer dries, we'll guide coat it, we'll sand it down. If I see anything I don't like, then we'll take care of it then before I prime it again. So, but I got primer in the gun, so we're gonna, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna switch the airline over to the paint station, and we'll get some primer applied on here. So, where you guys at? So I have a second line that runs from where the compressor is, almost to the other corner of the shop over here, and it loops through along the wall, up and down and up and down and up and down, and it has a secondary off of the original, or the tank dryer setup. It has a secondary one over there. So I have the line that loops up and down and up and down, because as water comes up over the hoop, it'll get trapped in the bottom hoop and come back up, and you snake it like that, up and down across the shop, and it'll help to trap any moisture or water in that line, and then you have the secondary trap to block that too. So, and I only use that setup when I'm spraying anything. So it helps to keep the moisture out of all the tools and everything like that. Now eventually here, I've been looking at a dryer system, so eventually here I'm going to get a dryer set up in here, but I really need it. I've mentioned it before. Here where we live, you know, I came from the Chicagoland area, and now moving out here into Indiana, the moisture is crazy out here. I have never had a problem with the amount of moisture like we have here. So it's kind of crazy. I gotta maintain the tank daily, and really got to make sure that I keep bare metal covered and clean, well cleaned, because you'll clean a piece of bare metal and come out the next morning and it's all rusty again. I've never had that problem. I've worked on cars, you know, half my life, and I've had cars sitting in bare metal for months and not a speck of rust on them. Here, nope, doesn't work that way. It's like there's salt in the air. It's crazy. Okay, so we're gonna do that 3 more times. So it looks good. I'm happy with it. Other than a couple of spots where I seen a couple pinholes, but no big deal. We'll get those filled in. And then I seen a couple of spots where there was some heavy 80 grit scratches. I did put it in 220 before we did this, but there is a couple spots where the scratches are a little deep. But other than that, I think we're good to go. So I'll get this primed up, and then hopefully tomorrow, maybe tomorrow's Friday, maybe Saturday, I'll get it flipped over. We'll give it a day to dry since it's kind of cold. I'll get it flipped over and we'll get the inside primed. So, and then once I get this primed, I'm not gonna make you guys, watch me put 3 more coats on because it's boring. Once we get this in primer, I will be starting on this bed side, and we will be getting this bed side ready to go. We're gonna go through, we're gonna clean everything again one more time. I got a couple welds from a patch that I put on the inside over here that I got to grind and clean up. Any hot spots, like this piece here, kind of hot spotted on us. We'll have to get this top bar cleaned up, and then we're gonna start body work on this side. So yeah, so stay with us. We're slowly moving along, but every day I'm getting more and more stuff done. So stay tuned. We'll keep working. I'm out.